What up, everybody? Had a lot of questions on the dashboard. Um, I keep calling it a digital dash. I mean, it's just nothing is analog. This gauge here has a pointer and it's analog, but it also has the digital readout for my RPMs. I'll turn everything on for you so you can see it, and then I'll tell you what the names of the gauges are and what they do. Ew, I got Velcro on me. And keep in mind, I haven't buttoned this thing all the way up yet, so it still looks like ass, but I'll go through it with you real quick. Um, this is a Grant 338 deep dish steering wheel with quick release hub. It's splined and it needs to be welded on. I'm on the other side of the car, so I'm not going to pull that off, but this is, I want to say the name of this switch is, it's supposed to be out of an airplane. It's just a simple pull switch for off and on. I think Fastronics is the name of the company that makes this. So the key is just there for decoration. It only keeps the steering column unlocked while I'm driving. The actual key does nothing. Pop this on, and that's my power. So I got my volts. That's my RPM. That's my fuel. The sound you hear over here is my oil pressure gauge. It reads in bars, so I had to learn that. The beeping is just letting me know that I have pressure before I even start the car, that there's oil in it. I accidentally ordered a water temp gauge, womp womp, for my Volkswagen. It was supposed to be an oil gauge, but I got too high and I wasn't paying attention. So I'm fairly certain water temp gauges and oil temp gauges are the same thing. But I'm going to go ahead and order the correct one because I'm so ADD that it says water temp on the bottom of it, and that's going to bug me eternally. Also, all the gauges are color change with the exception of that one. This one does its thing. Let me see if I can... Come on, baby. There we go. So, that's the secret push button. Once it gets warmed up-ish, see my volts read. My Fastronics stays on. There's my RPMs. Sorry, I just ate a bunch of tacos. I hope you can hear me. They all change colors because I'm an infant child and I like that kind of thing. My analog speedo still works. And like I said, that's a glow shift water temp gauge that's currently not hooked up to the sender. Even if it did read my oil temperature for me, I don't have the correct M10 sender to hook it up to. So, there's my oil pressure gauge. I love this, is my favorite gauge. This doodle here, you can get rid of it if you want to once you've set that gauge, but it lets you go through everything and set up your diagnostics, your color, the sounds, the warnings, the opening ceremony, anything you want. That's danger. And then, oops, sorry, I'll just go back to regular. Yeah, that. So, whoop. I gotta, like I said, I'm still putting this together, but I gotta get my 68 Wolfsburg badge attached to my Grant steering wheel somehow. I'll go ahead and cut this off. This right here is it's a digital speedometer that runs on GPS. So you just hook it to the app and it tells you what you're doing. When I first hooked it up initially, it runs off a USB, which I have currently hidden in here. It worked fine. When I double check the power and everything, I'm getting power at the source, but I'm not getting power at this USB dongle that I bought and hid in here. So I think it might have burnt up. Cheap piece of junk. But anyway, when this thing comes on, it's pretty cool. It's all green and digital. It tells you it's got a compass and it tells you your speed. I mean, it's nice at night because I don't have the light in this was junk already, if you've ever seen one. And then everything is so bright in here at night already that I don't really use this. Plus, you're only going 55, 60 miles an hour max. You're probably not breaking any speed limits. Damn it. All right. Yeah, knock my thing off again. What else? Oh, yes. This is, I forget the name of this FXC. This is actually for a Jeep. I ran all of my headlights to it. You can see some of my other videos with the headlights. They're Jeep 7-inch round headlights, and basically what I did was I pop this on, you get all your lights here. I ran each function off them individually. So these are my low beams. When you cut them on, you get a nice, these are my high beams. These are my amber halos with a red dot center, so it looks like an eye. And these are my white halos with a red dot center, so it looks like an eye. Yeah, and it's almost impossible to, I mean, you'd have to have some sort of like vehicle with a lift or you know, like a flatbed to steal this thing, because this comes in with me at night, and if you don't know anything about this, then you're probably going to be boned, because the key's going to throw you off and it don't do jack squat. So yeah, that's, oh right, yeah, I was going to tell you exactly. Now keep in mind, none of these gauges are super duper expensive. They're not AEM, they're not, I'm a broke boy, so this is budget shit, and I was willing to bet on a couple $20, $30 gauges that a couple of them would work. Now, I'm not going to lie, I did burn through 2 gauges. Neither one of them worked for some reason. They were both by this company called Dragon Gauges. They're the cheapest ones you can find on Amazon. And had I watched the video prior, anybody's video on YouTube prior to trying to install them, I would have instantly seen that they're junk and they just don't work. However, these work fine. This is just a generic motorcycle gauge. It doesn't have a name. There is no company, but if you look it up, that's what the face looks like, and that's what it does. It's super simple to hook up. Literally hook it to a ground, and then you just hook it to the sensor, and then there's a thing on the back of here that you can adjust. So you go fill your tank up all the way, and then you turn that dial up, and it tunes this up all the way, so you know that that's the top, and then you've got an accurate reading on your fuel gauge. That beeping does go away at some point. I know it's annoying. This gauge here is by a company called, wait for it. Blurry. Okay, so I can't remember who makes that gauge, but when I edit this video, I will slip it in because I'm thoroughly happy with that gauge. Super simple hookup. It's power and ground, and then you just run it to your the negative side of your coil, and it reads off that, and it works just fine. This is a glow shift gauge. I assume that had I ordered the right one, it would be beautiful, and it works perfectly. That's actually a pretty expensive gauge in my opinion. It was almost 70 bucks with a sender and everything. My favorite gauge, and I can't find another single gauge made by this company or any information about it, is that it says Bezel, B-E-Z-E-L gauge, and you can change it. It has all that cool stuff, and you can change it like 7 different colors. It only reads in bars, so if that's something that bothers you and you need like imperial digits to be able to figure it out, then I went in and figured out that 2.8 bar is like 45 pounds of pressure or something. Somebody will correct me in the comments, but yeah, I will eventually tuck this away. I don't need that once I settle on whatever color that's going to be. And I'm always fidgeting with these colors here just because, you know, whatever holidays, they got all kinds of colors. That's why I bought them. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the dashboard. I don't have an air conditioner. I don't have a wiper motor. I do still have my glove compartment. Still got my doodle, and my doodle doesn't work. These don't work. They're just for show. This is just to confuse somebody. It was my original starter switch, and it broke after like 3 tries. So it just looks cool. So I leave it up there, and it's turned sideways to confuse people who want to steal my shit. But yeah, that's basically it. Everything is super easy up under. I don't know if you can possibly see through there. Let's see. See that fuse? Yeah. So that's a bladed, sorry, it's not going to focus, but right there is a bladed fuse box, and everything, I actually have 2 of them under there. Everything runs off of them. I don't have to have 2, but I bought 2, so that's just how I did it, because things on this side were easier to run. Call me lazy, call me dumb, I don't care. It's just the way I did things. I'm currently learning. I've had several Beetles over my lifetime, but I've never really modified any of them. I've never had the time. I drove them around and eventually sold them, wishing I hadn't now. This one won't be going anywhere. I love this car so much. In case you're wondering about these are what I'm told are MPI, actually OG MPI panels. I bought them. They came in MPI packaging and everything. I just got them off of eBay or Amazon. Everything in here you see is off of Amazon or eBay. I didn't go out and buy any of this. I did go to Harbor Freight and buy one of their wiring. It's like a wiring kit. It gives you every gauge you need for your car and every different color. and it was only like 45 bucks. That helped out tremendously because I was going through butt connectors and all kinds of stuff trying to figure this out. One thing that will be getting replaced is I bought a much cooler switch from the same company, Fastronix, that makes this. I think that this switch is probably a little underpowered. I didn't know jack about electronics or amps or wiring. I still don't really before I put that in there, but the car seems hesitant to start sometimes, and I'm definitely linking it back to either this or hopefully not my starter. But the button that I bought that comes with this is almost the same size, and it's a big red airplane button, like contact. You got to push it in, and I'm going to mount it down here in this hole. I'm going to have to route that out a little bit, and I'll just leave that up there and disconnect it to confuse people more on how the hell they could possibly try and steal my car. But yeah, this is made by a company called Ace. Again, I'll put this in the video once I go back. I think it's called Ace Car, one word, ACECAR. And I wish I could get it cranked up for you because it's really cool and 80s looking. It comes on, it's got its own opening ceremony, and then it just links to the GPS satellite. And from what I can tell, it's pretty accurate if my analog gauge is accurate at all. It seems to link up to it, but right now it currently does not have power. All right, that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment underneath and ask, and I'll answer anything I can for you. Like I said, I am a full-blown amateur. I don't know anything about anything, and anything I learned trying to do this, I probably learned from like Slade's Beetles or VW Jawbreaker, one of those great channels that helps you out. I know there is another channel. He did something similar to this, but he used kind of older style, and he used VDO gauges, which everybody would tell you is probably the way to go because they're basically Volkswagen centric. But they just, in my opinion, they're not my vibe. They're not as cool looking as that. They don't do all the cool opening ceremony stuff and all the dedupes and beep boops, and I like all the dedupes and beep boops because I'm a stupid 80s kid. So, yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, hit me up, and I'll try and answer them for you, and I will get the brand of this, and I'm pretty sure that's Ace Car. Bezel for the oil pressure. That's a glow shift. Those are pretty common. And this is a FXC. It's called a 6-gang. All that means is you get 6 switches, so you can look it up in a 2-gang or a 4-gang. And also, if you're going to do something similar to this, just kill 3 birds with 1 stone and get the panel that has the switches you need. It's got a volt gauge in it, and it's got 2 USB dongles on it. It's already all in one thing, and it'll fit in there. I didn't find that until after I had already done all this. So, you know, I got a bunch of extra nonsense that I probably don't need, but it doesn't bother me at all. I don't care. It's all functional. And once that oil temperature gauge gets going, I'll get everything in here buttoned up and give it some color. And this is just temporary. It's Velcroed on there because I got a lot of, it's easier for me to get my big fat sausage hand through there when I need to work on something possibly right here on the other side as far as like these switches. So it's only Velcroed up there currently, and it might just stay like that forever because it's easy access and it ain't going nowhere, and it holds this one up. So yeah. All right, guys, Ben, Cars and Coffee Kings, signing out. Ignore my spaghetti.